Okay, everyone, Oleg here, and the show's about to start. Everything is finally starting to come together on my side here. I'm trying to make sure that all the settings are correct, but looks like everything is running smoothly. And let me just make sure that my stream is going through as intended. Alright, let's switch on over. Here we go. I am live now and transitioning. Okay, this is Oleg and welcome to the show. So, first thing I want to do is say a shout out to anyone that's coming to watch today. I'm just going to do a quick reading in the chat. Alright, so let's take a look at the comments that we had yesterday, and then I'm going to be talking about various things, various things that we can work on, some ideas, and here we go. Alright, so let's open up my YouTube channel and then we're gonna see how we did yesterday. By the way, thank you everyone that for all your very nice comments and for your support. It means a lot. Then you guys, I'm glad to know that I'm making a difference and that I'm contributing, so I'm really excited about that. So far, like the videos are going to be coming. I am continuing to edit the Hydroblade video, and I've yet to record the last moves video for Juvenile Moves, but I intend to do that later this week. So it's just a matter of getting ice and everything together. And okay, so looking at the comments we had, let's see here. Fuchsia said, I missed you too. Please keep doing these. I certainly will. And yep, I'm going to try to stick to this usual time. Concerning, and this is with getting back to what I was talking about with Anne, I am going to be probably doing morning of, like on Saturday, I'm thinking probably before I have to teach, I can get a video out. So maybe, I don't know, it'll probably be maybe 12 hours sooner than this video. So I'm going to actually make a post more clear on it about probably Friday. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely intend to make a video for the rest of the people out there, because I figure if 12 hours apart, then most people will have a chance to catch me. And let's do this. Talk to me live. Let's transition over. Okay, so you can see what I'm reading here. Okay, so Heliko, and again, I'm sorry if I garble any of your names or butcher them. I missed the stream again, but thank you for posting it. I actually use the off-ice warm-up where you press your back to the wall and bend at the knee. It's simple yet very effective exercise. Yes, absolutely. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, this was covered in last night's broadcast, and this is the wall presses exercise, or the axis of stability exercise. And you can find all these videos in my playlists or under Ice Dancer Oleg. This would be an Ice Dancer Oleg off ice, so you would want to look in there. Okay, let's see here. Why did you stop doing the big idea at the end of your videos? I thought they were really motivating, just curious. I actually haven't stopped. I mean, it's one of those things, when I do big ideas, it's... Let me switch over real quick so you can see me. When I do big ideas, what I do is just kind of like, I might see something or something might happen. I'm like, this is something that I want to comment on. And right now what I'm doing is I'm checking myself on the live view. So what I'm doing is to making sure that I'm broadcasting properly, I look at myself on my phone. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that when I do big ideas, something might come up or I might see something or something occurred to me and I'm like, this is something that I've seen a lot of people struggle with, and I probably should comment on it. And sometimes, I have ideas in my head that I want to get out there. Other times, it's just a matter of, okay, so I have a limited amount of time. I want to get the video out as quickly as possible. But there is something I wanted to talk about, and this carries over into a big idea. And this is to do with frustration. I saw that, like, especially this week, not with us, we're actually doing very well, Ashley and I, and making a lot of progress. But I have seen other skaters get frustrated, like students and things like that, where they can't seem to get something. And I need to explain how frustration is going to be part of the journey. You just have to accept that these things, they take time. A lot of things take a lot of mileage. Like, even like take crossovers, right? I've been doing them for, I don't know, like 17 years now or something like that. My crossovers need work, and I work on them every day. We spend about an hour doing just training exercises every day, Monday through Friday, that is. Anyway, and they're getting better. They have gotten better, but they still need to get better, and they need to get a lot better. And it's just one of those things. You get better, but then you want to get even better, and just accepting that life is just a work in progress. And the next thing is, you don't want to base your value as an individual based on your performance as an athlete. In other words, you can't base your self-worth if you pass or fail a test, or how you do in the next competition, or if you get last again. And the next thing, you have to understand that even when you finish last or fail a test, you may have failed in the attempt, but you did gain something. It is not an absolute failure. You gained experience. And I gotta tell you, experience is one of those things, you could only get it by doing. And you get it not just by succeeding all the time, but by failing and learning to get up and keep going and be able to recover in difficult situations. So it's one of those things. Like, for instance, let's take Nikki and I at Nationals last year. So a quick recap. My last Nationals is Ksenia. We didn't do too well. As I recall, we finished, I think it was 11th, and I have to look it up, but I think it was last. I could be wrong. And then with Ashley, we took 13th. We were last. And then at Nationals, now again, I had competitions between these. With Nikki, we did pretty well overall, but at Nationals, our short dance was not our best. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was not like super awesome, and we were last going into the free dance. Now, we could have let that rattle us. We could have let it affect how we skate, but we didn't. And that was because experience. You gain experience that enables you to go out there and pull yourself together and just do the best performance you can, even if you're coming off of being sick, even if you're coming off of being injured, even if you're coming off of any number of things that are working against you. And we were able to move up 2 places, and we took 10th overall, and that was my best placement. I mean, I've beaten more teams in the past with other competitions with Ksenia, but getting 10th was the highest I've ever placed at a national competition, so I'm really excited. Anyway, but my point to you is that it could have easily gone a different way, and mentally, we were prepared for that. We went in there and we weren't thinking about scores or placements. We were simply going out there. We're like, okay, so we're just going to go out there. We're going to have a good time. We're going to give the best performance we can, but we're not going to let it stress us. And that's how you handle things. But look, it's easy to talk about this. You know, when you haven't had that kind of experience, in the sense that I remember when I was like years ago, I would go to pieces over competitions, over getting last or over failing a test. But looking back, I realized how important it was to go through those experiences. It taught me so much about moving forward and just keeping myself together. So while I tell you these things and they might make sense, it's one of those things that it's probably going to take a while for them to sink in sometimes, especially for younger athletes or less experienced athletes. These things take time. Experience takes time, but don't let your performance judge your value as an athlete or as an individual, okay? So you're a winner because you show up and train. That already makes you a winner. You're a winner when you compete, even if you're last, because not everyone goes out there and competes. Not everyone goes out and performs for an audience. You're a winner when you test, because not everyone goes out and tests, all right? You're already a winner in those cases. And what you're winning, and I'm not just trying to flatter you, I'm saying you're actually winning something, and that is experience. You're gaining the knowledge and the experience to be able to go out there and move forward and to control yourself. You have a better appreciation of how your body, your mind work together and how to handle stress. And the more you do it, the better you'll do. So that's just one of those things. That's my big idea for this video, and it's kind of a long one. Usually I make these a lot more pithy, but you know, like I said, this is a live show, so I just kind of can ramble on and on. But let's see what else we have going on here. And let me switch over the view. All right, so. All right. Peter writes, I've had this idea of a crazy live show that technically should be possible, but in reality, just the cost or a grumpy Zamboni driver might put a stop to it. Okay, you know how there are small flying drones with cameras on them? If you could set that drone to only fly within the ring size and at the set height so it can't bump into any obstacles, and have the camera be a live feed through your laptop at the bench, also a wireless mic, and have the drone follow you on the ice, focusing on a camera on a remote thing you can carry on you, so that none need to operate the drone and just follow you on auto mode. You could then be a one-man live YouTube show and do things on the ice at the same time, interact with your audience all over the world. The battery of the drone, of course, will be the max time of your live broadcast, but for YouTube shows, you know, for all the top channels, videos 10-15 minutes most viewed. The risk about carrying a smartphone on you while skating is to see the live chat feed, as if you fall on the phone, you will have a bad day. I kind of get that idea after seeing all of them girls desperately trying to place their phone on the boards and tilt it against the plexiglass to get the right angle to film themselves. Okay, so we get the idea here. What Peter's getting at is making a live show where you're actually being filmed live, as in like a performance, only it would be an educational video. I've had similar ideas. Probably what I could do is stream from, you know, like setting up a laptop, and then, you know, I could set up a camera or even have a feed directly into a camera. But there's a couple of things. Well, a couple of things is when you skate, if you talk, it disrupts your natural breathing pattern, the way your breathing pattern when you skate. So you're going to get really winded very quickly. And I've seen this happen. I mean, at this one really cool show that I've been in, and again, this is like a rink show, like a spring show. There's this one athlete, he actually sang while doing jumps. Now, it looked cool, but the execution was very difficult, and you could see the strain that it was putting on him, not to mention technical difficulties that time, but it was interesting to watch it. Myself, I've played around with the idea of playing a violin while skating. I'm not the best violinist, not even close. I'm terrible at playing, but not terrible in the sense that I'm not judging myself. I'm simply saying that I have not developed the necessary skills or put the necessary time to play the violin properly. However, I do know other athletes who have skated and played the violin, and it's cool. But my point to you is, you put all these things together and it can get complicated, like trying to teach while talking, while trying to focus the camera, stay in the angle, maintain connections. It can just get very messy. So the easier thing to do, I think, is just to have a set number of videos, which I already have made over the years, right? So I can just go in there, and if I want to make a point, I can just pop up a video and show you real quick what I'm trying to get at. I mean, it would be a fun idea, but the logistics of having a drone follow me around, getting a good angle. And the other thing is, there are drones. I've actually wanted to get a drone for a while, just don't have the money for it. But there are drones that you can have them just follow you around at a predetermined height. So that part is totally feasible. But looking down from your top of your head, it's not going to give you the necessary angles to explain effectively what you need to do as a skater. So, I mean, that's another problem. It's an interesting idea, and it would probably be more useful for, I don't know, certain other types of events. Like, what I would use a drone for is aerial photography. You know, I like to put various videos at the beginning of a video and just show you stuff. And just like places I visited and all that. So that would be cool, but it's one of those things I don't think it'd be very effective for skating. Okay, so let's see how we're doing right now. Let's see here. Alright, so let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, Student Loans is here. Hey Oleg, what's up? Hey Student Loans. Let's see, problems, edges, and reversing directions. I just basically suck. Okay, so I'm going to answer that in a minute. And then Helco's here. Greetings to you, and Baba's here. Greetings as well. I can't stay long, but can just say hi, everyone. Okay, good. And then, let's see, let's look at Mohawks. And so, okay. And why do I never do jumps in videos for Kevin? Okay, so answering Kevin's questions. Myself, I did freestyle early on, but then what happened was I switched over to dance. So I did my singles and about half my doubles, but then switched to dance. So it's one of those things. While I could go and do some jumps or polish them up and do them, I don't know if I could necessarily teach them properly. So that's why I was very happy to make jumps videos, get through all the singles done with Nikki, because she herself, she did freestyle much more seriously than I did. And she's got the experience and the knowledge, and she teaches freestyle as well. So I was able to make those videos. And I mean, now that we're no longer partners, there won't be any more jumps videos, at least unless another opportunity comes up. Maybe I'll, you know, find another friend. We don't have anyone that's really freestyle focused that I'm familiar with at the times we train at the rinks we're at. I mean, there are other skaters that train, but it's not someone that I can say, hey, let's make a video right now, because they're either our schedules conflict or we're coming in as they're leaving, or vice versa. But it's one of those things. I always look for opportunities. Whenever an opportunity presents itself, I try and get you as much knowledge as I can from anyone that I can in the area. You know what I'm saying? So, like right now, Ashley and I are going to be trying to get the rest of the dances that remain that Xenia and I didn't finish to do those. And then I'm working on moves. So this week, look for the hydroblade video, like I mentioned earlier, and that's an additional hydroblade video with additional exercises to help you get into it. And because the thing is with hydroblades is, if you have the necessary technique and skills and strength, you can just pretty much go and do it. But if you're not quite there, there are other exercises you can do to help prepare you for it. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm working on that video for you guys as well. And the next video, I want to get juvenile moves done, and then I'm going to start making an intermediate move. So those are the two videos I'm aiming for this week. I have not forgotten about my intention to make videos in other languages. Primarily right now, I'm focusing on making videos in Russian, and because I speak Russian, and also looking to make a video in Turkish. I have some friends in Turkey that are interested in videos, and that, you know, if like what with Nikki and I did and when Japanese, where I would have a text in English and then she would transcribe it into Japanese and I would remake the video. So those are the things that I'm looking for. Anyway, Nikki and I went our separate ways. It was unfortunate in the sense that, I mean, I really enjoyed that partnership. We made huge amounts of progress. I'm answering the question in here. But it's one of those things. We had slightly different goals in mind. So she's got her pursuits now, and I'm continuing to pursue training. However, the way it happened, we came to this understanding much sooner than, I mean, it wasn't like the last thing. It was like, you know, like you didn't go to nationals and immediately afterwards things fell apart. No. Like, we made plans ahead of time. I set up my students so that she can take over. My students had continuity. She was able to work with them. I arranged a new partnership with Ashley. So things were all lined up. It was a very smooth transition, except for, you know, the wrecking the car. My uncle and I on our drive back. But, you know, it's these things happen, unfortunately. But where am I at? What training tools do I use? Okay, so primarily for on ice, I don't use any cords for like conditioning and things like that. I have a stretch band, and I'll bring that and show you next time. Jump rope, and then agility ladder, and primarily just like a yoga mat for stretching, and of course weights. So those are the things we do, and also another safety mat for, like, Ashley and I, we have some really interesting flips and transitions and lifts. So we're actually working on developing this really cool program. Our coaches have put a lot of effort into us right now. We're with Chris and Igor over at Floyd, and we train at Aspen, that's the ice arena in Randolph, New Jersey. And this is all in New Jersey. Anyway, so the things that I use primarily is, those are the things for, like I mentioned, relatively basic stuff. And actually, we talked to one of the maintenance guys, and, you know, like, he knows the owners and stuff, and if they can put up a chin-up bar at the rink. So looking forward to that. And again, really basic stuff, but there's all kinds of things you can do, you know, push-ups, and you don't even necessarily need a chin-up bar. I mean, there's other exercises you can do, either with cords, like a resistance band. That's what I was talking about, what I have, or, you know, various types of resistance style pushes. let me see here, like reverse push-ups. Let me get back to the rest of your comments. Here. All right, so getting back to what we were saying here. Biggest problem, okay, student loans are cool, says, my biggest problem is my edges and reversing directions. I just basically suck. Okay, so a couple of things you want to think about. I don't want you to think of yourself as sucking, because it's a relative term. Whether you're good or you're bad is relative to who you're comparing yourself to. Because there are skaters that are not as good as you, and there are skaters that are better than you, and that goes for everyone. Now, you want to try to work and spend time with those that are better than you, because if you hang out with your betters, they will always pull you toward them, in the sense that if you're top dog, then you're always going to feel that you're superior. I mean, I'm not talking this as like in a moral sense, but it's one of those things. If you're always surrounded by an atmosphere where you have those that are better than you, then you don't let your own successes and progress go to your head, and it makes you want to work that much harder to get further. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't be friends with everyone. You should be friends with everyone. But I'm just saying the people you want to look up to are your betters. Now, considering your thing, what can you do to make your edges and reversing better? All right, so the biggest problem with reversing directions usually is controlling the checking. And I'm going to show you some exercises now. Let's do this. We go to my website, istanceoleg.com, and let me get this on the screen. Go. Okay. Now, this is my website. We go to videos. By the way, I write my own code for web design, so it's just another thing that I've learned. Anyway, I stand so Oleg here. By the way, you could also go. I also made a website for Xenia and Oleg. You can hop between them. Anyway, we have down here is playlists. Let's look at edges. All right, now, for the biggest thing with edges is you have to have exercises that you can do that are not too difficult for you. This is a really good exercise. If you look at the US system of moves in the field, it is very effective at teaching you the necessary skating skills. So it's one of those things, listen, it's very easy to just pass your moves in the field and say, okay, I'm done. I never want to do those set of moves again, right? But there are certain moves that you're going to have to do for the rest of your skating career, and one of them is edges. So you always have to do stroking. You always have to do your forwards and back crossovers. You always have to do a form of edges exercises, and you always have to do turns. Every time you train, set aside a good half hour. Now, not everyone can do that. I totally understand. But if you want to progress, you have to understand how important these things are. Because if you're only putting in, say, I don't know, let's say a half hour for 2 days a week, that's going to significantly limit to how much progress you can make. So these are the kind of things you're going to need more time, and you need to work on these things. So here I'm doing an edges exercise. This is for moves in the field, and those are the back outside edges. We're going to look at the edges again from the top. There we go. Here we go. I'm showing different arm methods. Okay, concerning arms, something I should mention is that when you're taught, like some people get really hung up about, okay, I have to do this arms this way, but my coach taught me a different way. Look, ultimately, stick to what your coach says. That is the first thing you do. Learn your coach's technique, learn it well, and master it. But then also learn whatever else you can come across. Learn all the various different ways of doing something, because guess what? When you do a program, you're not skating with very specific arm positions like I'm doing right here. These are ways of controlling yourself, and this keeps you from unraveling. So if you want to go through this video, I'm not going to go through it in detail because I'll basically be talking about the video in verbatim, but go through the video and look at the exercises and practice the edge exercises. And don't let it frustrate you. These things take time. They take mileage. They take a lot of time and mileage. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Okay, let's read the next question here. Okay, so in terms of, oh yeah, and getting back to what I was saying, edges and reversing directions. So you probably want to do 3 turns at mohawks. Let me show you those real quick. Okay, now click playlist, and now if you go through, let's see here. By the way, the moves in the field and adult moves in the field. Adult moves in the field don't contain all of the moves in the field that the standard system has. So they are, if you're done with the adult moves in the field and you're an adult skater, try looking at some of the moves in the field ones that are not in it, and they can be really fun to practice. I mean, you have to enjoy doing moves, of course, but for practicing and working things out, there's some really good stuff in there that, you know, once you've passed your golds, you can go back and look at some of the other moves. Okay, so if you look at my turns playlist, some of these turns, they're pretty difficult turns. Don't even worry about them. Instead, you want to look at your 3 turns and your mohawks. And, you know, let's look at some of the videos. First of all, you want to start on like a 2-foot 3 turn. That's just your basic transition. This is something that you learn to skate. But there we go. I'm gonna skip ahead. All right, so as you can see, just practicing this. And by the way, when you turn 3 turns, make sure that you skate through the heels, but you rise and turn on the ball of your foot. Okay, there, just said it right there in the video. Well, anyway, that's very important because if you're struggling with turning on 2 feet, the odds are you're not trying to turn on the ball of your foot. And the ball of your foot is, I'm going to explain this real quick. So where you're, let me just pause the video. I'm going to show you actually. I'm not going to show you my foot, don't worry. But I'm going to show you with my hand. Okay, so if this is your foot, right, these are your toes. This part would be called the ball of your foot, where your toes connect down here. So that's what you want to do. Turn on that part. You skate through the heel and then you turn on that part. Now, let's get back to the video. Alright, so like I said, work on your 2-foot 3 turn first. That's your basic turn. And really focus on the control. Don't let your body swing around. If you work on the control like I'm doing right here, this is really important. And that's going to enable you to work better. Now, at what point do you check yourself to keep yourself on the circle? Well, you want to do it as you're rising and turning. If you try to check yourself after the turn, it's too late. You're going to just swing around. All right, let's look at another one. All right, so let's look at something a little bit more challenging here. So we have, right here we go. And this is another good exercise. Again, I can do all these turns individually. What's also good is working on them as a series. Again, look at the moves in the field playlists. If you look through here, for instance, we have the alternating forward 3 turns. This is a very good 3 turn exercise. It might be a little too difficult, but check it out and you can get an idea of, that's my dog Wesley here. He's so nice. Anyway, here we go. So here again, I'm talking about rising and turning. And one of these things is, look, once you have something that you can kind of do, you want to put the mileage in. It's very easy to do something 2 or 3 times and be like, why can't I just do that? You know, I mean, I'm terrible. And then just give up or just stand around and just feel frustrated. Do it 10 times. Do it 20 times. Do it 30 times. And do not judge yourself. You just keep going. It's all progress. It's all mileage. Do not say how good or bad you are. And it's very easy to say that you're terrible, but if you want to have an objective opinion of yourself, either ask someone other than yourself, because guess what? It's very hard to have an objective opinion of yourself when you're right in the middle of the situation. Or what you can do is make a video. Record yourself doing your turns, and then record yourself doing it a week later, and then record yourself a week after that, and just see what you look like after a month. But only do that if you intend to actively work on that, if you're going to be really putting in the time, because it's like one of those things. If you're just going to do something 1 or 2 times and then just be like, well, I just can't do this and give up, then you can't expect progress. But if you actively put in the mileage, if you understand the technique, and then you just polish it, polish, you're going to get there. Okay, that's me playing with Wesley. All right, so let's look at some more questions here. Okay, so... Okay, Student Lowe's writes, question, I have a small back issue. When I was younger, but now I am skating, when I step on the ice, my back hurts. I thought that is because one skates and not broken in. Ice is hard. Okay, so in terms of if your back is hurting, there's a couple of things that could be going on. First of all, it could be the fact that you're using different muscles. It's the same way, for instance, like on last Saturday, I went on a 3.5 jog/walk with my dog Wesley, and I'm using different muscles. Now, when I train intensely, I usually don't do a lot of jogging because it's just, you could really wear your legs out at that point. But I mean, like, you know, you train for 5 hours straight, you're not going to go and start running much. I mean, you can, but you just have to keep everything within reason. My point is, it was a Saturday, I didn't have any training to do, I was at home, so I wanted to burn some calories, get out there. Anyway, so I came back, it was fine. It was a little sore afterwards, but that was totally normal. So what I'm trying to say is that different muscles, like the same, I mean, I train much, much harder than that jog/walk that I did with Wesley. But the point is, because I'm using different muscles, that I'm not used to using them the same way, they're going to be a little sore. Now, it depends upon how much you're training, and also, are you warming up before you get on the ice? If you're just getting on cold open, it is, first of all, very dangerous. Very good chance of getting hurt that way, and also much less effective training initially. So, my advice to you, first of all, if your back hurts, check with a doctor. Second of all, you got to do warm-ups. You got to warm up properly. Just get to the rink a good 30 minutes prior, do a good warm-up, and then, now in terms of warm-up, let me show you something here real quick. Just going to give you some really basic warm-up that you can do. All right. Ice Dancer Oleg. So we have, let's go to playlists. Actually, we're going to go to Ice Dancer Oleg off ice here. All right, and I'm going to be making more off ice videos for you as well. But one of the first ones I recorded, here we go. Just a quick warm up. Even if you just do this, I mean, it's enough to get your body going. First thing you want to do is jog around, just a light jog, just to get your body going. Look at this place, it's so beautiful. By the way, in case you're wondering, this is the same place I talked about in last episode where with the ruins. Anyway, so here we go. I'm just going to look this over real quick. Just going to look at a few things. All right, so you want to warm up, and basically it's like a head-to-toe style warm-up. You know, you roll your head around one way, and then you're going to roll it around the other way. There's any number of things that you can do, any number of exercises. Now, by the way, before you start doing this, make sure that your body is like warm. It has to feel warm. If you're doing this cold open, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna pull something. It's very easy to pinch your neck, pinch a muscle. So jog around, get yourself a little warm, you know? Get yourself going. Now here, I'm moving on to shoulders, and I'm moving on some more shoulders and arms. I'm just going to work my way through this real quick. So we're going to watch the duration of this. I'm just going to keep talking about what else is going on and stuff like that. But in here now, this twisting action, again, you got to be warm because you can hurt your back if you're doing this. But at the same time, that is so important, that ability to twist like I was doing there. Because guess what? That is all of your checking. That is your 3-turn checking and your rocker and your bracket and all kinds of checking is from cross twisting. So you want to have a good range of motion and you want to properly warm up. So that's just one of those things. And again, this is like a super basic warm up. Normally you would want to do a lot more than this, but this is just enough to get going. Now this right here, whenever I talked about the double presses exercise, you don't have to do the arms. You can just do the double presses against the wall. And I'm going to show you guys. But let's see here. I'm just going to finish the rest of these stretches here, going through this. But the double presses against the wall is definitely one I want you guys to do. And primarily just like all kinds of this. Now here, normally what I would also do, which you don't see here, is I'd find like a trash can at the rink, you know, one that's got a lid on it, of course, and put my foot on that and then just stretch myself to get myself going. So, you know, you can really make sure you're sure that you stretch your legs. And actually, I'm going to show you, it's not in this video, but it's in the next video. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in terms of trash can. But really, I'm just really getting good stretch here and getting myself going. Okay, so we finished that. Let's get out of here. And we are going to look at, so quickly, this is a double presses video. This is Ice Dancer Oleg off ice, 11 off ice, axis stability exercise for control, okay? That's the one I want you guys to do every day. It's very important. And you do not have to do this at the rink. You can do it at home. But when you do it, if you're doing it in skates, make sure your heels do not leave the ground right here. See? This is very important. Axis is your shoulder, your hip, your heel. Small of your back, you want to press it against the wall. You want your belly button pushing toward your back. Your head does not have to touch the wall. Do this about maybe 20 times. Do it smooth. Do not bounce up or down. You have to feel the control. Like my old coach Alina, she would say, imagine a very fine watch and it's got very fine gears. And you want to feel every single point of those gears. Like, it's not like, you know, up, down, up, down. You want to feel every single degree you go through right here. See, every single degree. You should be able to pause instead of just a straight drop and a straight rise. Really work on those ankles. You want to push your knees several inches past your toes. A lot of skaters tie their skates too tight. They cannot use their ankles. Well, if you can't use your ankles, you're not going to properly be able to skate. It's super important. All right, so we got that, and what I was talking about with that. Here we go. Where was it? All right, this is what I'm talking about right here. So you can do either this exercise where basically you put your leg on something and stretch, or this one where you swing. So I'm not going to go through all of the videos, but I would recommend you to check them out, or there's any number of other YouTube channels you could find off-ice stretching exercises and conditioning exercises for. So let's get back to the chat here real quick. I'm going to see if I answered all the questions. Let's see where we're at. All right, my voice is getting a little rough. I'm going to get a drink real quick here. Okay, so let's see here. All right, cover the back issue. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. And by the way, I really appreciate you guys, all your nice comments, and I read everything. I mean, I'm just not going to read it back to you because you're in the chat and you can look at it. But, you know, I really do appreciate all of the kindness and all the love and support you guys have for me. So thank you. It means a lot. Okay, so, okay. Backward edges. Okay, let's look at that real quick. And that's good. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, in terms of, do I rollerblade? No, I do not. Actually, what was really cool is there's these things you can get where it's a skate guard and it comes with wheels like rollerblade wheels. So you could actually, my partner Ashley, she once took them out. we had a break, right, in between training, and someone had those guards, and she's like, okay, I'll try them on. She put them on and she went rollerblading outside, came back, and we continued skating. I mean, it's for fun. She's fooling around. But anyway, you can buy those things. They're apparently really cool. I don't do it for the reason that I train primarily as a, you know, I'm a skater. I have to focus on that. Would I cross train as a rollerblader? If I didn't have any ice, maybe. But the thing about it is, I'd rather put all my energy into training. I like to focus what I do because this is, you know, this is where my life's about. from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. I mean, I got up this morning, go to the rink, train. Afterwards, we go to another rink, train with our coaches. Afterwards, came back, taught. Afterwards, came back, and now I'm making a video. Afterwards, I'm going to go to bed, sleep, wake up, rinse, repeat. So that's my life, and I really enjoy it. So otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. All right, so to answer, and this is going to be probably the last question, I'm going to have to wrap up the video. Let's see, where was it here? Okay, so backward edges are hard. Okay, so yeah, let's go over into that real quick. Here we go. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get you guys in here. All right, so a couple of things you can do for backward edges. So again, we're going to go to playlists. And we're going back to probably stroking and edges. Alright, let's do... Alright, let's do actually, let me take a look. Let's check stroking first, see if I have the video I'm looking for here. No, and we go back. It's going to be in edges. Okay. Nope, hang on a minute. Okay, right. It's right here. Same video I talked about last time is the basic backward edges exercise. So I'm going to show you this, and then actually, let's see here. Where are the double presses exercises? Hang on a minute here. I'm going to find... Okay, we're going to look at this first, right here, and then I'm going to show you one other video. Alright, so this exercise, this is a little bit more advanced, but the idea you'll understand here in a minute. The double presses work like this. You're going to glide. Here I'm doing it in a circle, but this exercise could just as easily be done in a straight line or on 2 feet. And you do not have to extend your leg back and forth, but what you do is you do double presses. And the simplest version of this is you would push off against the wall and glide backwards on 2 feet. And then just hold the 2-foot glide. And then what you can do is you can glide backwards and press and rise and press and rise. So like I said, this is probably a little bit too difficult if you're struggling with backward edges, but this is a good advanced exercise, and you can make a simpler exercise version of it. Now, let me find you the one I was talking about. All right. Okay, so right here. I'm going to make a backward exercises video of this as well, but right now we are going to watch this one, and you will be able to get an idea of how this works. And then I'm going to show you one last one that also carries over into the same idea. Okay, so basically like doing pressing and rising. This is done right here in a straight line. And you can do this backwards as well, and you do not have to extend your leg. If you are going to skate this, you can just do presses and rise, press and rise. And here I'm talking about the stroking line, shoulder, hip, heel axis. As you can see, maintain, turn out your foot, and control your arms. And this is the axis I was talking about. Now, just the presses and rises, if you keep your feet together, you can do this backwards as gliding double presses, and then do it on 1 foot. Initially, you do it on 2 feet, then you would do it on 1 foot, then you can do it, and again, this is a straight line, with the foot swinging front and back, and eventually you can do the one that I showed you with the backwards one in a circle. So that's how you work. You start from something that is doable for you, but challenging. Don't jump ahead to something that's just backbreaking or something that you can get hurt on. So instead, doable but challenging, and stick to that and progressively work. Always look for exercises that are doable and challenging, and keep pushing yourself, keep pushing your limits. Now, before I go on any further, I want to share another video, and I'm going to just keep talking here. There are other things that you can do that will make a difference. Let me see here. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, so the basic forward edge exercise. That's first Laura and I video. Let's take a look real quick here. Okay, and let's jump ahead. So right here, this is an exercise that you can do on the circle, and I'm trying to see where it was. I think I did this. Here we go. Again, this is the forwards version of this. Just like the backwards one, you want to be able to practice this, and you're gonna get better eventually. But pick an exercise that's good for you, that works for you, and then move on to something that's more challenging. Alright, well, that pretty much wraps it up for today. So I hope I answered some of your questions. Check out the videos, and if you have any more questions, just feel free to message me throughout the day, and I read all your comments, and I'm gonna try to answer all of your questions in an upcoming video. Okay, so keep posting, and if you want to support my skating, if you want to help me out, please like and subscribe. And if you want to send me a couple of bucks, please do that via Patreon or send it to me via GoFundMe. Alright, well, thank you very much, and let me just turn back to me, and I'm gonna see here. Well, good night for today, and I will see you guys same time tomorrow. So I will see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And good night. Keep training, keep working hard.